Welcome everyone to quarter one AMA, Ask Me Anything, otherwise known as Q&A. A couple of weeks ago on Instagram stories, I asked you to ask me anything, and I got so many questions. It's like impossible to do it all in one video. So lesson learned, I'm going to make a little change for quarter two AMA Q&A. There's three topics I'm not going to cover in today's video, but I will be back at the end of the month to cover them. That is health and wellness, raising children, and navigating relationships. All the other topics and questions I will be covering today, and I am covering every single question that was sent to me. So I did not eliminate any questions, and there's even a couple I can't even speak on, but I think that's more in the health and wellness. But every single question I am covering, and I just thank you for submitting them. And let's get started because we have a lot of them. Starting with the topic of surgery, the first question is, how is your recovery going? My recovery is going really well. Today, when I film this video, I am 11 days post-surgery. I had an appointment with my surgeon yesterday, and he shared that everything is healing up nicely and right on schedule. He also encouraged me to start walking for physical activity, as walking can speed up the recovery process. No exercise or working out, no lifting weights. In fact, nothing over 10 pounds, although I have definitely picked June up several times. But I feel like lifting up a toddler is different than lifting up like a 10-pound weight. So the exercise and workouts are on hold. I go back to see my surgeon in 4 weeks, which will be at the 6-week post-surgery mark. So we will find out what the protocols are at that point. I'm sure that all of my restrictions will be lifted, but we will tackle that hurdle when we get there. But I'm feeling great. Still some mild discomfort. I really believe a lot of it is the area, because you're going to the bathroom and you're wiping, so you're never really leaving that area alone, and really you're not wiping, I'm just dabbing. But I think it just makes the recovery a little bit slower than if it was on the outside of the skin, but it's going great, thank you. Did your morning routine change during recovery? If so, how? I can't really say anything has changed about my morning routine, except that I'm just not doing my workouts. As you know, my normal schedule is a 4 a.m. wake up. I have been waking up for 4 a.m. for probably 15 years, and I work out upon awakening. So that is no longer happening, and I am enjoying that. I am trying to still get up plenty early and stay on my schedule. My husband, Paul, gets up for work at about 4:45, and I will either get up when he gets up or when he's in the shower, or he will wake me up before he leaves. So maybe 5:20, he will wake me up. I have had a couple sleep-in days, but I do take sleep-in days year-round. I don't get up at 4 a.m. every single day. I try to take about 2 days per week where I just wake up naturally, and typically I would be awake by 6 because you're just accustomed to it. So I am enjoying this time, but really nothing else has changed. Have you lost muscles in your recovery? Because I'm only 11 days post-surgery, I can't really say that I've noticed that I have, but I am sure by the 6-week mark, I definitely will have lost some muscle. That just comes with the territory of not using it. You need to, if don't use it, you'll lose it. So I'm okay with that because I see the positives, and I'm looking on the bright side of having the surgery performed. So it's actually worth it for me to have to put the work in when I get back to lifting weights, but I know muscle memory very well, and I have absolutely no concerns. I have been working out since I was about the age of 13, so my body adapts very well to exercise and strength training, and it will just fall right back into suit, which is the beauty of sticking with a life routine of exercise and strength training. I am really excited though to get back out walking, and the weather here has not really cooperated yet. Typically I am starting about this time towards the end of March with my spring to fall annual walking program, where I try to walk about 4 days per week, 4 to 5, usually 4 is the goal, and I walk about 4 miles each time. So I'm so excited that I finally get to do that, and I'm really hoping that the weather cooperates. And 3-week intense, the program that I facilitate, starts Monday, April 10th. I really want to be able to join and participate. I won't be able to participate in the exercise portion, but I'm looking forward to participating in the physical activity of walking and speeding up the recovery process. So with that being said, we're going to move into a couple of questions pertaining to 3-week intense. The first question is, do I need to purchase the juices for the intense program? This person is probably asking about the raw fountain juices that I do incorporate in my diet periodically. No, you do not have to purchase anything for your diet. You will decide and choose what diet program or nutrition program you would like to follow, but no, you do not need to purchase the juices. Is 3-week intense suitable for someone out of shape? 3-week intense is for everyone. It's a program that's going to meet you where you are, but it is intense. Your work, your hard work, and your exercise and physical activity, which are 2 separate things, they're going to be intense, but you're going to really decide what that is for your level. So if you're out of shape, you're coming from nowhere, it's going to look different than someone who is in shape and conditioned. But all the more reason to take advantage of this program to instill healthy habits to carry with you for your life, so that you don't have to say you're out of shape anymore. You can actually say you're in shape. So I encourage you to check out the course page and come on board. We'd love to have you. I have a couple of questions on the topic of fashion. I love your style. Thank you. What inspires you? I love fashion. This is such a hard question to answer because I know what I like. I have an eye for what I like, and I have an eye for what looks good on me. And I believe knowing that is motivating and inspiring in itself. I've also created a beautiful wardrobe, and I manage my physique and my weight year round, year after year. So my beautiful clothing pieces that I can mix and match and do a lot with really keep me motivated and inspired. But thank you for sharing that you love my style. I love that. How has your style changed since your 40s? Well, I think everyone's style changes. I think the biggest change that I've made is in my selection of clothing. I really place a lot of value today on quality pieces that are more elegant and timeless. I'm not into trends, which I can't say that I have been for a very, very long time. I'm definitely not a follower when it comes to fashion. Again, the more you get to know your body and what looks good on you and what colors flatter you, I think the more confident you will be in your fashion and style, and I am definitely there. I would say that my style between my 40s and 50s has gotten, more elegant, more timeless, more sophisticated, and I really love it. I really love the message that I feel I project by what I adorn my body with, what I choose for clothing and accessories, and that's a great place to be. Moving on to beauty, your teeth are beautiful. Are they veneers? No, and that's a compliment to even have someone think that my teeth are veneers, because veneers to me are like perfect teeth. No, I had braces as a teen, and I was not diligent about wearing my retainer after braces. So I did Invisalign several years back, and that took care of any teeth that shifted, which they will. So teens, just wear your retainer. Now I just have a permanent clear tray that I wear only to bed, and I'm diligent. I don't ever miss a night. And then on my bottom front teeth, I do have a little metal permanent retainer that's on the inside that you really can't see. I know it's there, and my dentist and dental hygienist know it's there, but you would never be able to tell. And then I've whitened my teeth for probably 30 years, and I think that goes a long way because it's really hard. I always talk about maintenance. What can we not get back, right? And not that we can't get there, but we may never get it all the way back because we let it go for so long. This could be your body, right? This could be your body. You let it go for so long that now you could be in a state where you may never get back where you would like to go. That's why maintenance is so key. And I've always had good oral hygiene, and I've always taken care of whitening my teeth, and I've never had any problems. And I do have videos where I walk you through my teeth whitening process and what I use. I love your eyeshadow. What palette is it from? I have actually been just continuing to use an old palette called Too Faced Chocolate Bar or Chocolate Palette. I believe it's discontinued, but I have not purchased a eyeshadow palette in a really long time. I just use what I have. I'm not like your content creator or your influencer that is constantly trying new things. That's definitely been a disadvantage on this space because that's really what you need to do, but that's really not my life. My life work is to try new products and test new products, even though you can make some money doing that. That's just not my chosen life work or what God really has chosen for me to do. So I just use what I have, and I'm a creature of habit. But if I can find the palette, I will definitely link it. What color does your hairdresser use on your hair? Well, I am filming this video 3 days prior to seeing my hairdresser. So if this video is not edited by the time I see her on Monday, I will put the information here. All right, so for the person that asked about hair color, what color is on my hair? This is the brand, the Luma Shine, and the box is to the right, the ANA and the AN. She uses that in the front of my hair. Oh, roots only, okay. And then the 7A and the 7NA and the 7N she uses in the shaft then?
No, in the back half.
Oh, in the back.
Crown down, yeah.
From the crown down in the back half. And then this is the developer. But she just always uses the same color. But I have a video where I talk about color, and my hairdresser is in that video explaining how you can't select a color off of what someone else uses. So it's really interesting. You'll have to check that video out. Self-care suggestions for a mom with teens. Your self-care isn't going to look any different as far as what you do. It's how much time you have. If you followed me when I first started YouTube and when I was first blogging, I dry brushed. I drank a lemon ginger detox tea. I did a lot of added things that I don't have time for today in this season. If you have teens and your life is just very busy, you have to decide what's the most important things to do in your self-care, and other things just need to take a back seat. They just need to take a back seat. How do I force myself to get ready daily? Makeup, hair, jewelry, etc. I work from home. Well, the first thing I'm going to challenge this viewer is it really important to you? Really get raw and real with yourself. Do you really truly want to get ready daily? If you do, how do you force yourself? You just do it. You do it whether you want to do it or not. It's just like getting your exercise done. Of course you're not going to want to do it. You're going to want to do something else. You make it happen. No one can do that for you. But for myself, I have no desire to get ready daily. Do the makeup, hair, no desire. 2 times per week is plenty for me. But if it's important to you and maybe it lifts your spirits, maybe you have more confidence, some people do, they are affected by that, then just get the job done. Quit looking for answers. Just tune it out. Tune out your own noise, your own messages, because all they are doing is holding you back. How long does it take to get completely ready on a film day? I really don't know the answer to that because I don't just sit down and get fully ready. But I did get fully ready yesterday and I did film, but we had to leave in the morning. But I still do other things. I get up, I make food, I may do laundry, I make my bed. I'm always doing other things in between. But I would say probably a good hour to an hour and a half if we're talking about from shower to actually getting dressed. I would, if I'm being really honest, probably like an hour to an hour and a half. But I do so many other things that I really don't have that answer. How did you explain your reasons for having Botox and fillers to your girls? I don't ever recall sitting down and actually having that conversation with my daughters. They know what Botox and fillers are, and I think at some point you just pick up on that, but it was never a taboo topic. I guess probably because I don't see anything wrong with it. So I think when you feel like you're doing something that maybe you feel is wrong, you're going to kind of not want other people to know about it. Because I've never experienced that, I mean, I had braces and I had Invisalign, so it's cosmetic, right? I don't see it from the lens of, I don't know. It just really wasn't a topic, I guess, but they definitely know what Botox and fillers are for sure. Organization and etiquette. Have you always been organized? If not, how did you start? Well, I definitely was not organized. Well, let me put it to you this way. Growing up, I was a typical kid and a typical teen, and I wasn't going to do anything really above and beyond what was required of me, like my chores. But on a rare occasion, I would, as a child, I would get this burst of energy to want to gut and organize my room and move my furniture around, and I loved when I did that. I remember how I felt afterwards. And when I did that, I was really good. I was really good at organizing. But I was definitely a pack rat. I kept things. I'm sure there's a lot of reasoning behind that. Often when we can't let go of things, there's some psychological reasons. But I felt really good and I was good at it. So I do think my natural tendency, my eye, is to be organized, and I thrive in that type of environment. But I didn't manage my life and my time well during those years. I mean, a lot of kids and teens don't. So it really didn't show up until I was out on my own and paying my own bills and having to take care of my own belongings. What are some tips to become a rise and grinder? Again, this goes back to if you're looking for motivation or inspiration, that's only going to work in a very short duration, not long enough to create a habit out of it. If you want to become a rise and grinder, you need to rise to the occasion and you need to start grinding, and then you need to build upon that, and you need to do it consistently. It's not about intensity, it's about consistency, and then it becomes a habit, a healthy habit. Can you do a video on dining etiquette? I have a really great video actually on dining etiquette that I did maybe in 2018. Yeah, I think 2018 was the year that I did that. I haven't watched it in forever, so I'm not sure if I would change anything, but I don't feel like dining etiquette changes. I will say, and I have a napkin video, so if there's one change I made only because a lot of people disagreed, with what I shared, even though it still is etiquette. I did do a napkin etiquette video. I have wine drinking etiquette videos. So I have plenty of etiquette videos out there, but I have a full-blown dining etiquette video where I actually take you along with me to a restaurant. Check that out. I'll try to make sure it's linked. What are some strategies for a person that wants to improve their speech? For example, they talk fast out loud. Well, anytime we want to self-correct a default or a bad habit, which would be maybe talking too fast out loud, that's awareness. That is dialing yourself in and catching yourself, and also having an accountability person. If you're married or you have a partner, really honestly giving that space to your partner to check you. But you can't be offended when they do. And encourage them to give you silent, subtle hints when you are talking too loud and too fast, because it's probably coming from a nervousness. Often filler words, talking too fast, talking loud, talking too much in conversation, a lot of times this is more about a nervousness and a desire to be liked, right? So recognizing where it's coming from and not judging it, it just is what it is the awareness part, and then you have to catch yourself. Almost every self-correction I've made, I just had to practice awareness and catch myself. I used to use filler words. I grew up in my parents, both my mother and my father, use filler words. It would make complete sense if I grew up hearing them, I would use them today. Paul grew up in a home with filler words as well, so he uses them. It takes a lot to correct yourself, but you have to be aware, and then you just dial it back in. Improving your speech, you can work, there are coaches that can help with improving your speech. If it's more grammar related, choosing the correct word. You know, we can get some words, gone and went, seen and saw. We can get words mixed up. I used to do that. If you watch some of my old videos, I really didn't have great grammar in a lot of areas. And while I would on paper, I would pass the grammar test in speaking, and it's because of what we heard. And I still hear those errors with family members, so it kind of makes sense that I picked up on them. Paul has several words that he says incorrectly, but his mom and dad both say them incorrectly. It makes complete sense. Do I wish he would not? Yes, but he has to want it. He has to want it. So I may bring awareness at times, but he clearly keeps going to the default word, so he doesn't want it bad enough. So it's your journey, and I'm sharing this because it's your journey. And it really requires awareness, but there are coaches that can help with your choice of words and to make sure that you are using the correct word. Sorry, that was kind of long-winded, but that's a great question. Moving into questions just about me. Have you ever considered learning a foreign language? Well, I will share this. I love learning. I am an eager student and I love to learn. I have never had interest in learning a foreign language. When I was in high school, I took Spanish. I believe Spanish 1 and Spanish 2, and it may have been a requirement. I can't remember if foreign language was an elective or if it was a requirement, but did I retain any of that? No, I didn't, and I have no desire. I'm perfectly fine. I think a lot of it is I don't see where I would use it. I really don't see where it's going to bring value to my life. But if someone has that desire, I think it's wonderful because I think learning is so important. Right now, I'm learning how to ballroom and Latin dance once I get back at it. We start back up in April. I think the Friday after Easter is our first day back, and I should be okay. And I'm gradually starting to practice some of my moves to get ready for that. What music do you listen to most? I would say if I listen to music, I love like a classical jazz if I'm just doing something around the house or during the holidays, but probably country. And I didn't grow up listening to country. I grew up listening to more pop and top 40, but I don't know. I really can listen to, I'm not into it. I'm not into, this is the best way to put it. I'm not into music. I'm not into shows. I don't watch Netflix. I watch no television unless sports is on in the background, and I'm not into movies. And that's okay. There's nothing wrong with that. That's just Paul and I, neither one of us are into any of that. So to each their own. Different strokes for different folks. What is your favorite indulgence? A glass of wine, cocktail, or sweet treat? Well, I love all of them. I would say that if I could only choose one thing to have, it would be a toss-up between really great bread with like a dipping oil and herbs. Like let's say Carrabba's, if you've ever been to a Carrabba's. Or even a really great bread, but there's butter with it. I love bread, and I don't mean sandwich bread. I'm talking bread. I have some French rolls in the freezer. Rhodes French rolls, and they are amazing. And I have garlic butter for them. I'm making a roast beef dinner tomorrow. Having those in the freezer, if there's leftovers, that will be really hard for me. It's not something I can have around. So bread is a really big weakness in that form. And I love baked goods. So candy, I mean, yeah, in a weak moment maybe, but I love baked goods. I love cake with a lot of buttercream frosting. And I will take the corner piece. I want the piece with the most frosting. So that is the best. Brownies, kind of lower on the indulgent side. But yeah, I'm a baked goods person, and bread. That would be more than anything. I would definitely choose one of those two over a glass of wine, but I do love my wine as well. Any reading suggestions? I'm not your girl. I mean, I've read a few, but I am not fluent at book suggestions, so I'm not your girl to ask. My business manager, Haley, she would be your girl. How did you get to be this wise and confident? You grew in a beautiful direction. Thank you. That is such a nice compliment. I really appreciate that. I think with confidence comes wisdom. I think knowing yourself and knowing what your real life mission is. I truly, if I look back, even into my childhood, what I am doing today, the life's work and God's work that I am doing today was right in front of me. It was right in front of me. Being here, helping you, helping others, changing lives, yeah, it was right in front of me from very early on. Very early on. Sometime I'll share a story that a girl that I went to St. Paul Lutheran. I'm a Lutheran school girl from kindergarten to 8th grade. A girl I ran into that was one grade ahead of me. Something she shared with me that I completely forgot about. And it's just a beautiful story of how I was doing back then in elementary school what I'm doing today. And it's really a beautiful story. And she made me aware of that. And it was really just a nice conversation. So I think anyone can have confidence if you really truly put the work in. But you really have to like yourself. You have to love yourself. You know, people sometimes talk about imposter syndrome. I never experienced that. I really can honestly say I never experienced that. And I think it's because when you truly just know that you are doing life's work, you just, yeah, there's a purpose for everyone. And you know your purpose. You know your purpose. Do you ever feel sad or down? Absolutely. Who doesn't? I mean, I almost feel like that question, there's definitely some questions that I think, wow, people just, I don't know. Of course. I mean, a human being couldn't say no to that, right? They wouldn't be truthful. Of course, I feel sad and down often, actually often. But that feeling sad or down doesn't diagnose me with anything. It's just called everyday life. Today is very gloomy and gray. I pulled almost an all-nighter. I have been up since 11:36 p.m. last night. So I am on barely any sleep. If you watched my Instagram stories last Saturday, you know I pulled the all-nighter. Yeah, it's hard to stay chippy and upbeat. It's hard not to be sad or down when you can't figure out why you can't sleep, why this is happening to you. You check off all the boxes. Not only do I feel sad or down, I feel mad sometimes. I'm just like you. So absolutely. And I have a blog post and a couple of videos talking about down days, being in a funk, all of those. I'll link some of those videos below, but absolutely. And I'm okay with it. I'm okay with it because it's a natural emotion. I think where people get in trouble is they're just not okay with it. Start being okay with what is natural for everyone. Were you ever insecure? Well, I'll share this. I love this question. I'm sure, probably. I'm sure, but not where I can pinpoint. But I'm not insecure as a person, but I have some insecurities. Again, I'm normal. Imagine that. I have some insecurities, absolutely. Insecurities usually are areas that you're not really good in, that you're not strong in, so therefore you're going to be insecure in that area. Yeah, it makes complete sense. No big deal, right? Don't sweat the small stuff, right? So yeah, I'm insecure in the areas that I'm not good in. But I welcome that. That's normal, right? Again, you'd never be an eager student willing to learn if you didn't have insecurities about maybe things that you don't know, right? So yes, I'm not insecure. I don't recall having an issue with being insecure, but I have insecurities about certain things, that's for sure. Do you ever get annoyed or even angry? Again, how do we not? I've been annoyed and angry most of today. Yeah. Oh yeah. It happens when you pull an all-nighter. You're going to be a little annoyed and angry. I am annoyed and angry often. Yes, often, because of probably the sleep issue. Do I show up in my disposition with others? No. Because if I'm annoyed or angry, if I wear it on my sleeve, as many do, and I show up with my loved ones or people that I'm around, it's not going to change that I'm annoyed and angry, right? Just like being sleep deprived, none of my loved ones would really ever know unless I told them, yeah, I didn't sleep well last night, so I'm really sleep deprived. I may just be a little not energetic, but I am certainly not going to show up with a bad mood. Because that's a choice. Yeah, I know. It's a choice, believe it or not. And that's not how I want people to see me. And that's not how I want people to remember me. And I'm sleep deprived often. So if I chose to be in a bad mood every time I was sleep deprived, I'd be in a bad mood all the time. You guys probably wouldn't see much of me because I'd be annoyed and angry. So I choose to not wear it on my sleeve. I don't want to be known for that. I don't want to be remembered by that. And it doesn't change. It doesn't change anything, right? How wonderful is grandparenting? I absolutely love it. I love it so much. It is everything that I've heard it to be. It is a love that is just so hard to explain. I feel that I'm living a really great life, but having a grandchild has amplified that. It has magnified that. And as you know, my third daughter, McKenna, and her husband, Bobby, are due the middle of May. I think her due date's on Mother's Day, May 15th. I don't know if that's Mother's Day or not, but they are, so she's almost 34 weeks pregnant. So we're on the home stretch and they're having a baby boy, and I just can't wait. I just can't wait. I have a marriage question, or I should say a question about Paul, I guess. Why did your husband stop drinking? Well, this is really easy. And I think it's a great message because it's a way to challenge ourselves in what do we need to let go of that we can't manage. The best way to describe Paul's choice to stop drinking is, first of all, the light bulb finally went off. It took a long time. It took a really long time. The light bulb finally went off that he couldn't manage social drinking. He couldn't manage it. And the light bulb went off, and he knew it was in his best interest for himself and his family to give it up. And I believe we're going on, I think it's like July 1st, and it'll probably be maybe 5 years, 4 or 5 years. Yeah. It was a great decision. I didn't make that decision. I had no part of it. Am I happy about it? Did I want it? Yeah. But that is a decision that only he could make. And I am thankful that the light bulb went off, and we've all reaped that reward. So, if you have something that is managing you and controlling you and you can't manage it, maybe you have to sever ties with it. Right? So we can't just stop eating, but maybe there's this one thing that is your biggest trigger, like ice cream. You're going to be just fine if you give up ice cream for the rest of your life, believe it or not. Maybe you can't imagine it today, but I'm sure Paul couldn't imagine not drinking and going to all these social events when he gave it up. And now it doesn't even faze him. And he's around other people having drinks. I have wine every time we go out to eat. So yeah, was a really good decision. Moving on to finances and career. Tips on how to know if you can retire financially. I think you have to look at more than just the finances. I think you have to look at what type of benefits you have right now that you would be saying no to, that maybe don't carry over into your retirement, and who is all under that, I guess we could say, umbrella. I think it's also looking at the lifestyle that you want to live, and people live longer. People work to an older age. Makes sense that they would. But you do want to look at how many years you could potentially be around, and do you have the resources to cover that for the lifestyle you desire? So how much do you want your life to change, and how much do you want to stay the same? Do you want to go in a bigger direction, or do you want to scale back, or do you want to just kind of stay where you're at, status quo? That's for you. And if you have a spouse, that's for you and your spouse to decide. But I think it's more than just looking at the finances, although that's quite a hefty portion of it. You have to look at the benefits, what investments. There's so many. It's like a puzzle, and you've got all these pieces that you need to put together. Seeing a financial advisor could be a good strategy. Often they will run some numbers, and they will be able to kind of give you what your projection is based on a certain age that you could potentially live to. So that would be something to maybe look into. Best and worst aspects of self-employment. One of the best aspects of self-employment is kind of having control. You have your own control. You're not working for someone, but you have to be very self-managed. You can't yes, you can make modifications with your schedule, but you can't just be taking time off. It still is work, and it needs to be treated just as it would be if you were employed for someone else. I shared that I pretty much pulled an all-nighter last night. Well, could you call in sick to work if you were employed and say, I can't come in today, I didn't sleep well last night? I mean, that'd be me 2-3 times a week, right? I still have to show up, I still have to work, and I still have to perform. I have to push through. So you do have to be self-managed, but I would definitely say one of the best gifts of being self-employed is being able to run your own show and be in charge. The worst, you're self-employed. If you don't work, often you're not getting paid. And when you stop working, let's go back to retirement, you don't have a 401k, you don't have health care unless you're purchasing these things on your own, which can be really costly. I could probably do a whole video on pros and cons of self-employment, or even what I do, but that would definitely have to be another video. How did you train for and start your career as a personal trainer and life coach? In addition, another question, what made you decide to go to school regarding health and coaching? Well, again, if I go back to what I shared earlier, it was in front of me at such an early age, but I didn't really realize it until I was in my early 30s. I was motivated. I've always been drawn to these areas of life that I'm in, and health and wellness and all things life skills and etiquette and organization. I've always been drawn to those areas. Helping others is just, again, something that's part of my life work. And it was always there in front of me. And really just doing the research and finding what tools I needed and what education I needed, and then getting over any of my own self-hurdles, my own negative talk about doing it. It was not a fast or quick decision to take this path, and it's many years and it's constant learning. That's one thing I will share. There's constant learning if you decide to go into these areas of helping others. You have a lot of continuing education units that you have to keep up with if you want to stay credentialed and certified. But I love doing what I'm doing. I absolutely love it. And again, I could do a whole video on that as well. I do have a workshop on becoming a coach that actually you can take. It's on the course, or it's on the replay tab of the Hensel Coaching and Consulting website. What are your top tips for women over 50 looking to shift careers? Well, I actually have helped many of my clients looking to shift careers a little bit later in life. Again, it kind of goes back to, when can you retire financially? We really want to look at the big picture. What are you saying no to saying yes to this new career? And what is this new career? Because if it's a flooded career, then if it's something that's flooded and there's not a lot of opportunities, it may not be what's best for you. This is where working with a coach is going to be really important. I would say one-on-one coaching with a certified and credentialed coach, or even a coach that maybe just solely works in that area, would be an avenue that I would consider. How to get out of debt when living paycheck to paycheck. Well, this one's a tough one. I would say book some sessions with Paul. Book some sessions with Paul, because this is what he pretty much coaches most of his clients in this area, and it is remarkable what he has done to help clients of ours get out of debt and no longer be living paycheck to paycheck. So that would be my tip for you, because it may take an outside source to get in there and kind of really drive you hard. And always keep in your mind, what can I learn from this, right? Moving forward, what can I learn from this? We'd have to look at a lot of things. It's too hard to answer that question. Has anything changed from previous budgeting videos, spending changes, investing? Well, investments have taken a hit, but Paul is so good at what he does. He's good at his craft. We have not suffered too much in the investing area. Thankfully, he puts his time in though. He puts many hours per week, I would say, in our investments, but he also loves it. It's a passion of his. As far as my budgeting videos, I haven't watched them in forever. I would say I'm sure the principles still apply. I know it's cliche to say live below your means, but I think that can pay off. It's being smart with your money. It's managing, like all areas. What can't I get back, right? What can't I get back? If I let my health go too much, I may be able to get some of it back, but can I really get it back if I let it go too long? Well, it's going to be the same if you have poor spending habits and it becomes very habitual. If you're not planning for the future, failing to plan is planning to fail, it can get so far gone that retirement may not even be there for some people. In fact, it's definitely not for some people, and it's because of the choices that they made early on, and they always thought they could catch up later on, or I'll get to it tomorrow. We'll start it on Monday. You know, those type of people, and it shows up in usually more than one area of their life. You know, people that manage big areas of their life tend to manage everything. I am a management person. And I kind of manage all the big areas of my life that if I were to let them go, I may not be able to get them back. I may not be able to get them back, right? So everything boils down to management. Goals and the future. What are your long-term goals for yourself 5 to 10 years out? Oh, wow. Well, I would say I will always probably have my hands in doing something, but in 5 to 10 years, I would definitely like to be scaled back considerably on work and spending more time with grandkids, because I should have a few then. And really, it's the goals that Paul and I have together for retirement, our finances, what we would like to be doing in those years. There could be a possible move, but that could take, and I would say that would probably take place maybe more around the 5-year mark, maybe 3 to 5 years, maybe 2 to 5 years. I'm not really sure. It'll be based on kids, but really just continuing to maintaining my health to the best that I can. Really what I'm doing. I don't really have any huge, hairy, audacious goals. I've always had a desire to write a book, but in order to do so, I would have to step back from everything else because because I only have so much time. And so that would require my time. So I would be stepping back in other areas, and I haven't been able to pull that trigger yet. Do you ever stress about the future? No. Next pandemic? No. World War III? No. Food shortages? No. Never. That would not be areas that I would stress about. Which of your goals have you achieved in Q1, and what are your goals for Q2? So the goal that I achieved in Q1 was my surgery and getting this health area taken care of. Everything else was just maintaining. And my goals for Q2 are to start tackling the sleep issue. That's Q2. And everything else is just really about maintenance. That's the beautiful thing about being where you want to be in every area. You just maintain. You're not really always going after growth. I know a lot of people read me that way because I am goal-oriented, but maintaining is a lot of work. It takes a lot of time and a lot of work. So maintaining is the goal, and that's a big one. I hope all of you can get there. I love your current home decor. Do you still hope to move in the near future? Well, I wouldn't say I hope to move. No, that's your word, not mine. I do see a potential move taking place. Ideally, I would, and thank you about loving my current home decor. Thank you, because everything's old. I would really love to pick all of this up and move it to where the next location will be. But Paul and I want to be close to the grandkids that are for sure going to be in the area. And we kind of know where they're going to be. McKenna and Bobby are already there. Kirsten and Tim will probably end up in that area based on Kaylee's location of her mother. And we want to be within 5 to 10 minutes of our kids at the most. 5 minutes would be ideal. 10 maybe at the most. And I think they want that too. So there's probably going to be a move. Paul and I are very smart with our money, and the smartest thing we could do is stay put. From a financial standpoint, stay put. That would be the best financial move for us to make. But not all decisions are based on that. And yeah, I could see that we would be moving, but I don't know if I would say hope. I just want to be by my kids. I want to be by my grandkids. 35 minutes is a long ways away. Depending on where you live, you may not see it that way, but being 35 minutes away from a grandchild, that's too much. And my daughter that's expecting, that lives 35 minutes away, she said that one time. She said, 35 minutes is just, it's too much. It's not like we can just pop over. And that's the truth, because it's 35 minutes one way, 35 minutes back. Are you thinking of moving to a warmer climate? I doubt it, because I don't see Paul and I leaving our grandkids. If we ever had, and I don't know that we have a desire to have one place. You know, a lot of people have like another place, or they go to, a lot of people that live in Michigan go to Florida. They have condos, or a condo was in their family. Maybe they don't have the condo, but it was mom and dad's, and now they get access to it. We never had that, so Paul and I would be on our own to have some place like that. My in-laws do go to Florida every year, and they have forever. And my dad and stepmom go to Arizona now for the winter. Because of grandkids, I just don't see it in the near future, so it's not even being discussed. And we just don't. We at a young age, we wouldn't want to be staying put on one place, because that eliminates travel. That eliminates traveling, and we'd much rather travel. But when we get up in our 80s, you know, yeah, it might be nice to have a place someplace warm. And the winters are very tough on me. Michigan is very hard on me. When you talk about down days and being in a funk, I'm looking outside right now. Yeah, it impacts me, but I don't wear it on my sleeve. I don't wear it on my sleeve. Do you and your family have any trips or vacations planned for 2023? Because of baby arrival, we are holding off from a family vacation for 2023. Paul and I may be doing a trip, and we may be incorporating our second daughter Haley with that trip a little bit, or seeing her. We don't know. We have a trip on our radar, but it would just be Paul and me, and then 2024 will be a family vacation. And we're already talking about what that would be, because we plan about 1 year out. How do you get past the New Year vibe? I think that's more of like the New Year's goal. I don't participate in that. So I don't know if I was misread in that, or if they're just asking about themselves. I have to assume they're asking about themselves. Get out of it. Get out of it. Every day's a new day. The new year is just a new year, right? It doesn't impact what I do, because I manage year round. So yeah, I do have quarterly goals, but most people, it's like a diet and exercise related thing. And how do you stay past that? Well, it's just going to fail you. So I don't know that it's possible to have that be your reasoning to take on something new. So hopefully that helps. Work with a coach, work with me. I am going to end it there, and I'm just going to share a couple thank yous that were sent. I wanted to say thank you for all the Tip Tuesdays. I especially love the Don't Wear Black video. I need to comment on that because we went to a wedding. When this video goes out, it'll be almost 2 weeks. We went to a wedding and reception, and I did a little observation. It wasn't difficult, believe me. I didn't have to look too hard. I would say there was well over 200 people at the reception, and I counted 6 ladies that were not in a dark color, meaning black or navy. Now, I love navy, don't get me wrong. I love black too, but if you watch that video about just don't default to black all the time, unless you want to blend in. 6 ladies were in color. I was one of them. I wore a beautiful, vibrant, just knock it out of the park blue. And there was another lady that had a dress that color. The mother of the bride looked incredible, and she wore a magenta dress, that magenta that I love. Oh, her dress was gorgeous. So I was so happy to see her in that dress because so many mothers of the bride wear like a champagne or even black or navy. And I don't know, or silver. Yeah, I loved what this mother of the bride, which is my cousin, what she wore. And then there was a couple other colors, but only 6 women, ladies, had color on, and there was well over 200 people. Another thank you, I just would like to thank you for all the love, understanding, and concern you've shown me and many others. Thank you. I really appreciate it. I really appreciate everything you do. So thank you for sticking it out through this very long and lengthy video. Don't forget, I will be back at the end of the month to cover the topics that I didn't cover today, which is health and wellness, raising children, and navigating relationships. So I will be back towards the end of this month covering those topics. I'm going to keep this handy. Don't forget, links will be in the description box below of anything that I mentioned or any videos. And just happy to do this, and we will do it again at the end of quarter 2. I may for quarter 2 have one area. So leave in the comments section what one area you would like me to take questions on, because what happens is it's just too many. It's too many for a video. People aren't going to stick around that long. So if we just do one topic for Q&A for each of the quarters, I think that's going to be better. That's the beautiful thing about being self-employed too. You get to change things all the time. You don't have to ask anyone else. So let me know on that. Thank you for sticking it out, and have a wonderful weekend.